wrong one. That's the right one, but the wrong place. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Core. This is Core talking video games so that you can too, I guess. It's me, Scott Johnson, Bo Schwartz, and John Jagger. And once again, we step up to the plate to bring you the latest and greatest and all the opinions you can stand. So welcome back, everybody. I wanted to just let everybody know, we talked about it briefly last week, and also our big episode that we did that was all about this Blizzard stuff. The charity I wanted to do is now up. So if you want to get some artwork, it's a broken Hearthstone called No Way Home. It's available now in print form. It's available as a t-shirt, a pin, or set of pins, or stickers. 4 different items to choose from, 3 great charities to apply your money to. You get to choose which, and it's all up there now. 100% of all profits, including the artwork creation itself, all of it is going to these charities. 0 penny for anyone else, including me. So anyway, if you want to support that, you can. There's some really good causes in there. You can read all about them. They have links and everything. We made it all super easy and transparent and easy to do. So go check that out. It's at frogpants.com/store. Okay. Let's get into this cool. Right here.
They look awesome, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I think they turned out all right. You guys will be getting some stickers because they always have throwaway extras, and I'll give those to some people. So watch for that coming soon. Now this. All right. We may as well get the one story out of the way that's still related to that whole mess, and that is that J. Allen Brack left Blizzard. He resigned. It doesn't really...
Not surprising.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember someone on this show said it was definitely going to happen. Not sure who. Probably
remember...
doesn't want to brag about it.
No, he probably doesn't want to. Yeah, he doesn't want people to think that he's like proud of it or anything like that.
Right. If it was you who called it, just, keep it chill. Yeah. Don't go overboard on it because it's not something to necessarily bring.
Not necessarily, but it does seem like a natural consequence that somebody's head was going to roll. The very first thing that somebody said when I posted it on one of the Twitter accounts was, has he ever seen the underside of a bus before? And makes a decent point. He's a little bit of a sacrificial lamb. Does he deserve to go? Probably. I think he does. There's a lot of inaction during his time, but really this is a much larger problem than Jab, and Jab always felt like kind of a puppet CEO anyway. So I don't know that this really moves.
Do we really know? We don't really know.
We don't really know.
No, but it would be my impression too.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the language seemed to be, because that's, when I think about him, I think about all the community people getting fired. I think of the treatment of heroes. I think of, a general declining quality as far as almost all the Blizzard products go. I think of Warcraft 3 Reforged, and guaranteed he was not responsible for all of those things, but they are all things that happened under his leadership.
Right.
And so I will say this. I am certainly not going to miss him. From what we've read and heard, it sounds like maybe he was aware of some of the stuff and didn't act on it. But I think anybody that's saying like, hey, this doesn't reflect what Blizzard employees actually wanted and what their demands were during their walkout and things like that, I think that's totally fair too. Because to me, this feels like the big move that you do to try to get people to stop paying attention to you. What's the smallest thing we can do that seems big to kind of get, people a little bit more on our side? And this is what this feels like. So it feels a little hollow, honestly.
Well, also, the way these deals work, he didn't leave with nothing. They probably had a very nice golden parachute on the way out. And that's how these things are written up in their contracts. So he's out of there. Now, whether other stuff will follow in the wake of all of this, who knows? But that is the biggest development of the week. He was replaced, by the way, by a pair of leaders. This could have been a real opportunity to put a very capable, awesome woman in charge. They opted to have a man and a woman, which I think kind of weirdly goes against the I mean, on one hand, you can go, oh, great, okay, there's some leadership at Blizzard it's not all dudes. We got a lady up there. But yeah, it's a lady and a dude. Like, I think it'd be nice if it was just a lady or a couple of ladies or maybe a whole team. How about a board or something? Like, I don't know that this two-person thing solves anything.
It's not a bad move because this isn't about just giving a woman a turn at the leadership. It's about dialogue. So, in actually a strange way, it's actually kind of.
I agree with that, but I guess what I'm saying is like, I hope that they're. I don't know. I don't know what I hope for the people that are taking their place or his place. By the way, let's see who it is. I can tell you their names. It's not showing up.
Well, they very clearly learned from Warcraft and most Blizzard games where it's like take a leadership position like War Chief and replace it with a council of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, that's the new Blizzard way. We don't live in an era of War Chiefs or kings. We live in a world of councils and little democracies.
It's pretty funny though, because a lot of devs do this very thing where it's like a multi-person leadership role instead of just like the traditional CEO thing. And some have said that those who work under those constructs think it's better for whatever reason. I don't have any details on that, but he's out of here. Here it is. Jen O'Neill and Mike Ybarra will co-lead after his departure. Mike Ybarra, if that name sounds familiar, I think that dude was a big EA, or he was the one that was working on Anthem, I think. I think that was an Anthem
One
guy.
of them was a Game Pass person. I know that.
Maybe it's...
and the other one, I can't remember what they did. But they're both from outside of Blizzard, and honestly, I think I couldn't be more excited about it. Like, I honestly don't care that Jay Allen Brack is gone. These two actually sound like maybe they can get some change in there.
Yeah.
And make some things happen. I mean, who knows? It's hard to say what kind of power and authority they're going to have. Jason Schreier wrote up a series of tweets about this that have made it very clear and paints a very clear picture that Bobby Kotick has been trying to get more and more control over Blizzard for quite some time. So, you know, it sounds like politics, sounds like a bad RTS game, but for all we know, you know, these people could be coming in as essentially puppets to some degree, kind of like what we're accusing Jay Allen Brack of being. But at the end of the day, Ybarra actually like is super into WoW and is a WoW player. And, you know, I think having people that are passionate about it and maybe not with the history with the company, I think makes me more excited for them being in the leadership role than if it was just somebody else got moved up.
Yeah, and it is Mike. It
is in the Blizzard culture.
It is Mike Ybarra who was with Xbox prior to this, so he's the one you were thinking of. Came and joined the company October of 2019, so hasn't been there very long, and has a pretty long resume of different leadership positions. Seems to be well liked. So yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, there's an opportunity here. I'm just...
Chat's got it. She was with Vicarious. She was head of Vicarious Visions.
Oh, which
they did. Yeah. They did great work.
Yeah, and they were just acquired by Activision. So okay, that connection makes sense. So we'll see what happens. I'd love to see Kotick go, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
As far as we can tell, it's Blizzard under fire, not Activision. Like,
yeah.
It's getting conflated with all of this, and you know we can say, well, it comes from the top or whatever. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're not in the business of making the world a better place.
No.
They're in the business of making money.
Right.
So, you know, if they can avoid blame, if someone's more culpable than that person, even if you hate the other person, because, you know, rampant sexual harassment is kind of a bombshell, then, you know, you can't necessarily paint that stick on Kodak or even the Frances Townsend.
Yeah.
We don't know how that might have been just a corporate internal letter that was poorly timed and worded and very tone deaf, but it's just someone trying to manage a situation that is probably generally removed if she's at a high executive level from the ground level goings-ons of Blizzard.
She's famous for being an apologist of torture techniques and getting information out of people when she was in government. And I saw
people make a
I saw
make a big deal about that. It's like I don't like it either, but they work somewhere.
Well, yeah, but
You
here's
don't like
but
them.
here's
It's their company, not ours. You know, like
but I'm not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is
Yeah.
like they said that, or you know, that's a thing that people have said about her, and somebody said, look, she wasn't. Or she deleted her Twitter account after all this, you know, everyone freaking out on her and stuff and getting dragged all day. So she deletes her Twitter account. And somebody said she didn't delete her Twitter account. She, how'd they put it? She's active in social position deactivation techniques or something like that. Something like that. I laughed really hard because, you know, you got to laugh.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh at
Yeah,
terrorism,
I
and,
mean,
torture, what can
she's
you laugh at?
getting a lot of hate, and I think probably.
I mean,
a
she
lot
deserves it. I'm
deserved,
not saying she's
you
a
know.
good person or anything like that, but
Yeah.
you know, it's their company. Like there's a lot of people you probably wouldn't like at a lot of the companies you buy products from. They're not public like they are with Activision Blizzard. And again, it's not because I'm not on the side of people who should be fighting for fair rights, but I think it's bleeding over into maybe more personal territory for the people who work at the company versus my outsider experience. I certainly the Blizzard I believed in, it does not exist no matter what they do. It's not the thing that it was or that it purported to be in the past. That's my relationship to it now.
If it was ever that thing, we don't know.
And it doesn't mean I'll never play a Blizzard game again. It just means I see it for what it is.
Yeah, you in fact played a Blizzard game this week, right? You played.
I did. Heroes is a great
played
game.
Heroes of the Storm this week. I believe. Yeah. I have no problem with people playing or not playing or subbing or not subbing. I think people should do what they want. You do what you want to do, everybody.
Yeah, you got to do what you're comfortable with, which it's funny. Bo actually playing Heroes kind of showed me where my head was at, because I thought I was okay with it. I thought I was like, you know, hey, a company turned out to be shitty. That's kind of my expectations of companies across the board. So meets expectations. And I thought I was generally fine. And I have a tendency to check in on Bo streams. You know, if I'm going to have something up, I like watching friends stream stuff and all of that. And he was playing Heroes, and I popped in and was like, no, you know what? I don't want to watch Blizzard games right now. And I turned it off, and I was like, I didn't know that that's how I felt until I tried it, and then went, no, you know what? I don't want anything Blizzard in my life right now.
That's how it
And
felt when
so
I tried to go update my what do you call it, the launcher, and it popped up, and I didn't either. I was like not entirely sure how I'd feel, and I updated it. It popped open, and all the language on it is season whatever of Diablo, and you know all that stuff they always tell you, and it just all of it rang so hollow to me. I just like, nope, I'm done. I can't get in here right now. I don't blame other people for playing. Like, you should play and do and whatever, man. Like,
well, here's what happened. Like, as I started rewatching Mr. Robot, and I hate to be cynical and sad, but at the end of season 1, after Elliot does the big hack and Angela's hanging out with the CEO of Evil Corp, she asks him, "Why are you so calm? The world's falling apart. You're the CEO of this company that's shit on." And he's like, "Was it aliens that hacked us? Was it zombies? You know, no, it's people. Let the people have their moment. Let them protest. They're people like you and me. But at the end of the day, I've got the full weight of the world's largest corporation behind me, and they'll need my help." Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. And, you know, I think about BP and the big oil spills. BP's still doing business. We sweatshops were a big deal when I was in my 20s. You know, still shopping at Gap, Old Navy, and Banana Republic still around. A few years' time, people will be playing Blizzard game. I mean, that's what they're doing internally. They're not saying, oh, you know, they're doing what they have to do, but they're being forced to make like the workplace a better place until such time as that they can achieve some sort of status quo and stability for their shareholders. Like, that's what that is. And if anyone's like, I want the people working there to fight for a good workplace, but I'm not under any illusion that I have an expectation that the people running the company are going to turn into saints.
yeah,
You know, and that's evidenced by the fact that the protesters are making specific demands that have gone ignored, but the company's still taking action, and everyone's like, well, they're trying to sell it to us like it's good. And that's because in 5 years' time, I mean, the pandemic happened, nobody cared about Hong Kong anymore.
yeah.
You know, like, and that's a real problem. You know, we move on from things, and the plan is from the executive is that we will do the right thing, but they will also move on from it. So let's not give them too much ground.
I hate that I agree with that, but I 100% agree with all that. 100%. You're absolutely
I mean, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, that's what it is. So now that I see the news, I'm like, I just need to take a step. I don't want to wade into the conversation and trigger a bunch of people who are rightly pissed off that work for the company. Like, I hear those things and they make me mad. I can't imagine what it's like working there. But at the same time, even if they make it better, would you still want to stay there? It's over. Party's over. Like, I think you should find, if you're really that upset about where you work and not getting the demands, I don't know, man. Like, it's time to seriously think about whether or not you want to stay in a toxic relationship.
Yeah. Well, right now they're in the mode of staying and fighting, and I support them until
I do too.
Until it doesn't work.
I hope it works out for the best. I wish nothing but to be wrong and just a cynical dummy and all that.
No, I feel you. It's easy to get cynical in this, and I don't disagree with anything you said. Unfortunately, placate. What is it? Ziggurat says placate until everyone mows on to the next thing. I think he meant moves, but I'd like him to mow as well. That's cool.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, there's that. We'll keep you up to date and see what happens. I guess Jesse Meschuk is out too. I don't know who is that? Senior VP of Global HR. Oh, that makes sense why they're
Yeah, that's
one that we're like,
too.
yes.
Was like,
if I'm cheering
okay.
anybody, not Jab, but this guy, and maybe the people that worked with him, because it's by all accounts, these people sound like they didn't know how to do their job right, or they did it too well,
or it was just they were just terrible at it, or I don't know what, but all
don't
of this...
trust HR in general. I mean, it's shitty. You want to talk about cynical, that general advice, but that was one of the first things my parents ever taught me when I was going into business was they said, okay, I mentioned something about like, well, can't somebody talk to HR? And they said, John, here's a life lesson you need to learn early.
HR's
who pays for HR to exist? The company. So who do you think HR is going to protect? The company. There you go. You cannot trust them is the advice I got. It shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't work that way, but it's the reality. And that's the way it works more often than not.
Yeah, I agree. Well, all right. So that's all going on. Good luck to all of them.
That's fun.
It's a whole lot of fun. Activision Blizzard faced a new lawsuit also this happened. This time from investors.
Yeah, so for failing to properly disclose the inner turmoil of the company affecting its valuation.
Yeah, which I wondered about, because everybody was like, you see their stock? It's up today despite all this. And I went, there's other knock-on effects of this, and it may result in some unhappy investor business, and this is it. This is them rumbling and going, come on now. Because they know what this means. If this kind of pressure stays, all of them hope it smooths over and we just move on, and whatever the status quo is, like Bo said, is there. I get that, but I don't think they think that. I think they think that the smart money's on this is going to last a while, and it's going to ding them. And
you probably won't hear much of the drama about this because it's not the sizzle, but I would assume, like, they were aware that they were being investigated for 2 years and did not act.
Right.
But guaranteed the investors suing them, like, heads will roll for this. We probably will never know the story behind this, but it's a big deal to people involved, and you could see Bobby Kotick go because of it, not because of the the more noble, let's have fair and equitable pay for women and no sexual harassment, please, but because you're who's lying, who's misreporting the truth to the shareholders. That's you don't want liars. We don't want we want honorable people leading our joint business venture. So
and the investors and investor relations was not informed about the lawsuit or the investigation that was going on for 2 years. So they were really mad about that. They weren't even informed or told. Let alone they didn't act on it. Or do much to fix it while it was happening.
And I don't know how you save face in the face of clear, obvious wrongdoing.
But we'll this is where they say it hits their bottom line. They say, as a result of the above, all of their accusations, Activision Blizzard was at greater risk of regulatory and legal scrutiny and enforcement, including that which would have had a material adverse effect. That's their way of saying we'll lose money on the deal. And say what you want about investing in Wall Street and all that other crap, but this is a publicly traded company, and this is probably where the most pressure is going to come from, if there is any. That's what I've basically said. If we're going to see any change here, it will have to be at the end of a knife that's about money bleed, and value loss. That's when
it's a
change
serious
happens.
offense. When people are trying to determine your value, and you lie or you hide things that affect it, because the whole system is based on trust. right? So.
And the value part is difficult, right? Because you're actually trying to do a monetary value to bad human behavior. So if you say, "Hey, Bill over there, he's worth $100. I like that guy. He's worth $100." Did you hear what Bill did? What'd he do? He took a shit on the break room table. Oh my gosh, Bill, you're only worth $40 now. Like, it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Like to take the Bill deserves to be ridiculed and given shit for taking a dump in there. And he probably shouldn't work here anymore. But what they have to do is they have to look at all of that as a quantitative money thing. And they have to say, well, Bill, you were worth 100, but you pooed in there and now you're worth $40.
But you didn't tell us about it. And the other people gave you $100. So now there's 10 people that their $100 just turned into 50 because you were dishonest.
Right.
It's one thing if the value changes because failures happen, because failures are part of business, part of life.
Right.
But if you hide it, then you just robbed people of their money, basically.
Yeah. It's all a little nutty. Well, anyway, moving on from all that, let's talk about Halo Infinite, where hopefully Master Chief is not up to any no good. All right, so they did a weekend multiplayer test over this last weekend rather. And apparently
none of us got to play.
No, none of us did. I'm kind of bummed. We're all Xbox owners. It would have been really cool for one of us to get a chance to see what's going on in there. But apparently it went pretty well. People seemed to be generally positive about it, although it was a lot of bots, I guess. One notable thing about all the bots that people fought were that they apparently are really good and kind of scary because they're good, which I think bodes well for the campaign. But the bots are the behavior that people are describing sounds like it's a step up in a game like this. Anyway, it went okay, and I saw some footage. It looked nice. It looked very action packed. Early on, there were some server issues that were causing slowdown on clients, and that's why you do these tests. This isn't meant to be a retail finished thing, but this is a huge step toward release. So if you're looking forward to Halo, I think Infinite's shaping up. So
I'm excited about it because Halo multiplayer for some reason is the multiplayer game I can always go back to and do okay in.
Yeah.
Like so many other games, for somebody who played just hours and hours and hours of Counter-Strike. Like Counter-Strike was my life. If I play Counter-Strike now, it's embarrassing. Yeah. I don't exist to people that play that game. It's bad. If I were to go back into Heroes of the Storm, I would get wrecked. Like, none of these games do I maintain any skills. But for some reason, every time I've ever picked up Halo multiplayer, I get in and I remain pretty decent at that. Yeah. And so I'm always excited to go back to it. And also because it's fun.
Yeah,
not just because I'm good at it.
Yeah, it's actually good.
Yeah.
And the fact that, it's on Game Pass, it'll be out day one. We'll get to play it. They're still planning on this year. I forgot the date. September, November, forgot. Whenever it is. November, I think. A new Halo, finally, after a long time between this and 5, and also 5 wasn't that well received. So hopefully they get up to some good business here. We're what, a year delayed from the original release? So this is
it was supposed to come out with the new consoles.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a launch, and it's that did not happen. But I think that's
I didn't even know there was a new Halo game.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm like news to me.
Yeah.
I haven't played since 3, and I think I played an hour of 3. I'm not a big Halo. I enjoyed Halo 1 and 2, but I kind of dropped off after that. Never really played them.
Man, I loved 3. 3 was my jam, I think, of all of them. But
I think Reach is probably my favorite of the Halo games. I think Reach was definitely Bungie doing their big swan song, like bow before they leave.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed with 4, so much so that I didn't play 5. 4 suffered from Mass Effect Andromeda problems where it was like you got a logical break in the story, you've got a chance to start over, you've got a completely different setting, and then their solution was to do exactly the same thing that they had been doing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like it. So I hope this is good. I'm really ready to get into a Halo game now.
Yeah, ready to love Halo again. I'm in that same boat. I want to have it be fresh and new, and I don't want to think about 4 and 5 anymore because those were boring and I didn't like them. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, Amazon's new MMORPG, New World, not to be confused with the 4X game Old World. New World got delayed again. It was supposed to be out the end of this month. It is now not going to be out until the end of September 28th. This is after a pretty, well, I shouldn't say. I don't know how long it lasted, and I think it's still going, or maybe it ended yesterday or today.
No, I think it ended a couple days ago. Maybe, yeah.
They've been doing a
Monday or something like that.
Closed beta thing where, if you had a key, you could play. I played. Did either of you get a chance to mess around? I can't remember.
Yeah, I played.
That's right.
I think this delay makes sense.
Yeah.
That game doesn't seem ready.
Yeah.
In fact, I would even argue that I think September 28th is too soon. I think that game's got some stuff to figure out. I think it's cool, and I think when we talked about this, what I said was that there's a skeleton there that I think could be a good game. But everything that's built on top of it feels like it needed work.
Yeah.
And for a game that was going to come out like a week later after their little beta period ended, it was way too early. Giving them an extra month, I still sit there and kind of go, how much is this month going to go? Like, it just, I think it has a longer way to go than what a month will be. But it could also end up being it's just not a game for me. Because I know some people, I talked to some people, some friends of ours who really love that game and thought it was great. But I think it needs work.
Our old pal Civ thinks it's
paprika or curry powder.
Always curry powder.
So it neneeds some spice.
Yeah, a little bit of paprika, not the weird anime called paprika, but
paprika.
Our old pal Civ loves it. He wants to have coitus with it. He wants to make love to it.
There was coitus.
Yeah, our hot new show.
There will be coitus.
There will be coitus coming this fall. Check for it. Watch for it. Yeah, we'll see. Bo, any renewed interest in this for you at all, or are you still sort of like, no, maybe not?
I haven't heard anything. I mean, I haven't looked into it. Heard there was crafting.
Big time.
Maybe if there's good world PvP, I don't know. MMO is a tough sell for me right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's
I have a bias against them. It has to be really appealing to want to dip my toe in.
Sure. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think the thing working in its favor continues to be that it's $39 and there's no monthly fee, so it's really a low barrier to entry for people compared to other models, I guess. I enjoyed what I saw, but everything felt a little bit, well, like John said, just a lot of systems felt like they're just not done or they're not iterated on enough or something. It's hard to put my finger on it. It was pretty though. It looked real nice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You can, hey, all you people who jump ship on Blizzard now, you can give your money to a giant mega corporation like Amazon.
I'm sure they haven't done anything sketchy or treated anybody poorly at all.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're.
I was going to say maybe the month delay wasn't for game development, but to settle some internal stuff before going live.
They have a spotless record of worker treatment, and it'll all be fine. Scott reminds someone in the chat of Brad Hamilton. I don't know who that is. Who's Brad Hamilton? Someone tell me. I don't know. Do you guys know who that is?
Cool kid in school.
Yeah. Hey, it's Brad. Oh, he's so cool. Like that?
Oh, man. Yeah, Brad's here, guys. Hey, I don't know if you know, but Brad Hamilton's coming to this party.
No way. Brad Hamilton. Oh, I'll never get that. I'll never go out with that girl. She just likes Brad Hamilton like everybody else.
Ugh.
Cue music.
Brad.
Yeah. I watched.
I feel like I missed something.
We're just doing John Hughes movies here.
Something happened. I missed an integral part of how we transitioned to this. I'm like, what are we doing?
When's the last time either of you saw Grosse Point Blank? Tell me.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
A couple years ago.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I'm sorry to shock you in such a way.
You
gotta watch it. It is like on a to-do list, but I haven't.
I made
playing too many video games.
I made my daughter watch it with me. It came out the year she was born, which is crazy. 97. But it's such a great movie. It's such a great freaking movie. Cannot recommend it enough. Take John Hughes, take Quentin Tarantino, make a baby that doesn't care about feet. That's your movie. It's so good.
Just to be clear, which part of Tarantino we're getting? The non-feet part?
Yeah, he doesn't care about the feet. Or he does care about the feet. We want to take that out. We're going to remove that from the Tarantino part. Yeah. It's a great movie. It's so freaking good. Gosh dang it. All right, moving on. How about this Playdate deal? So the little handheld, right? The crank on it.
We talked about this a while ago. I thought.
Yeah, a long time ago.
It looks
right?
so cool.
Yeah.
I still just love how it looks.
It's cool looking, right? Like, look at that thing.
I don't know what I want it for. I just know that I want it.
Yeah.
It's like the sharper image catalog of game consoles.
You
I don't
can't
know
get
why
one right
I need
now.
it. I just know I need it for some
It's
reason.
sold out.
Yep. They're gone, right? That's it. You're done. You're going to have to wait for
But
the
it's
second
probably
wave.
going to do another run, but yeah, they're sold out for 2021 apparently.
Says pre-orders of the new handheld started on July 29th. Over 20,000 consoles sold less than 20 minutes. What's that? 1,000 consoles per minute. Is confirmed by the maker Panic, Firewatch publisher. That's who's making this. Allocated a set number of units to be shipped later in the year. Once those have sold out, the company continues to take orders for 2022. Units made for the next year will be adjusted to meet the demands set by pre-orders according to the company. So
I forgot it was by the people who made Firewatch.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good video game, Firewatch.
yeah, it was, right? It was
It's
very
probably
good.
my favorite walking simulator game. Like in a world of Gone Home and Dear Esther and all of that, Firewatch was probably the best one.
I'm going to agree with you.
I think I liked that game a lot.
It was very good.
I mean, it definitely looks like a cool little device. It's impressive for something that the mainstream will know nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, it doesn't feel like this is going to be... they're selling plenty of them, but it doesn't seem like something that my mom will ever hear about. She'll have no idea.
All right, John and I had a weird experience.
You froze, Scott, but
Yeah.
you froze, like leaned in, like you were listening very intently to what we had to say.
I think we were both
So we
trying to
thought
talk
you were
to
just really taking it all in as we continued to speak to you.
Dang
And
it.
then John and I looked at each other with a knowing look. I could see, and we were like, "We're in frozen land. Like, we're in this void. I'm not in the reality of our call anymore."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did you know there's like a bunch of these games? I didn't
Well, I
realize
hope it has games. That's what you get a console for.
there's a ton of them. Wow. A lot more than I thought. 24 free games come with this thing. Executive Golf, Flipper Lifter,
Executive call.
Hyper Meteor, Pick Pack Pup, Spell Corked. I don't know.
I
what
want to point out it's not just Executive
CO.
Golf. It's Executive Golf DX.
Oh, DX. Yeah, sorry.
It's very important.
Forgot about the DX. Yeah.
You see Snack? Oh, Snack
A
looks good.
snack on there. Oh yeah, Lost Your Marbles, Echoic Memory. That's weird. Yeah, it looks like a fun
Boogie
thing.
Loops.
I want one. I do. Oh, and there's a whole developer kit they're putting out so people can make games easy. Yeah.
And 179. That's it.
I mean, I think the price should be if this thing was $99, you'd sell a trillion of them. But I think for $199 or $179, it's not too bad.
You never know, man. I mean, if it takes off as a hit, it might be a nice little young person toy. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a full blown deal. I used to love those Game and Watches that Nintendo had, things like that.
Yeah.
It's in that vein.
Oh, they're doing.
They bet you they can make a cheaper version that they could sell at Walmart or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it seems like this is going to do well. So, best of luck to them. All right, moving on. Final story here. Pokemon Go reverts pandemic changes, and players are pissed. Is this true? Are they mad? John, are you mad? You're a player. Are you mad?
I'm mad. I'm done. I uninstalled the app. The one phone game that I had given myself an exception for.
Yeah.
I'm done with.
What were the pandemic changes?
So, in response to the pandemic, Pokemon Go made a couple changes to try to keep people, in theory, safer for a game that's, about going out and being in public and being around other people. Obviously, if they were going to survive, they needed to do some changes. And so it was things like you didn't have to be as close to Pokestops in order to spin them. You could do remote raid passes, which meant that, you could invite players from a long distance. I've done raids in Japan. Didn't actually go there, but friends could invite you and you could do raids from a distance. Walking changes to distance needed to hatch eggs, how long you could use items like incense, which makes Pokemon appear near you without you having to walk around. And by and large, it made the game a lot more fun. Like, regardless of it being for the benefit of the pandemic or not, it made the game a more fun game. And so they have reverted and changed a lot of these. The key one that most people are upset about is they have lowered the distance to spin Pokestop. So it has gone from something you could do from a decent distance away to you have to pretty much be standing right on top of whatever landmark they have determined you need. And that's the one that got me to give it up. So this is actually really a bit of a painful one for me, and I understand a lot of people are going to have a lot of different reasons. I've heard some people who have said, this is a game about going outside and, maybe they have a disability, maybe they're in a wheelchair and getting into places is hard. And they said these changes actually made the game playable for them. So there's a lot of people that are being impacted by this going away. And for me, Pokemon Go is always going to be a game that I kind of associate with the birth of my son, as weird as it sounds. They had a big Pokemon Go event not long before he was born. I think the first weekend or the last weekend before he was born. It was one of the last things my wife and I did together before he was born. On the way to the hospital, the day he was born, my wife and I were both freaking out. We stopped at a park. We did Pokestops. We played Pokemon Go. That's what we did. That's what we did to relax.
That's
I
great.
literally have on my phone a picture of my wife in the hospital bed with a Vaporeon sitting next to her because we were playing the game in the hospital room together. Like, it was just this fun thing that was all built up around his birth. So the game means a lot to me. And to have it change and revert what was a good change that by and large made the game more playable, more accessible, more fun, just for no good reason. Like, the reason they've given is basically like, well, we want people to go out and explore, and you can't explore if you can spin these stops from a long ways away. Well, yeah, it was also 120 degrees. I can't go too far from my car right now. If I want to spin a Pokestop, I will die. So it's very frustrating that people are calling for a boycott of the game and for people to stop playing or take a break to really hopefully send a message to them.
Oh my.
I just uninstalled the game. I was like, they changed it. We're done. And so that was the end of that.
What if they fix it? You gonna go back if they fix it? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
I
fun.
guess the whole question is that it wasn't really broken, or was it just a temporary concession and they brought the mechanics back to where they wanted it?
I mean,
They brought the mechanics back to where they wanted it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Well, selectively. Some of the stuff they left, some of the stuff they didn't.
No.
So
my guess is they have made $5 billion with that game since its launch. That is a lot of revenue. And my bet is they left some stuff in that improved the revenue, and they're reverting back to stuff that gave them more revenue before. That's my bet.
It'd probably be a bet.
Yeah.
But
right.
it's a frustration and done.
Well, good for
Done
you.
with
If
that
you're
game.
unhappy with it, then don't play it. So
Yeah, and there's some confusion in the chat. Everyone thinks Nintendo owns Pokemon. They don't. This is not Nintendo.
They don't. It's Niantic.
the Pokemon company.
This is Niantic and Pokemon Company, mostly Niantic though. They're just doing with the license as they have been approved to do. Nintendo does not own the Pokemon Company, although they do own some stake in it. And you'd be forgiven to conflate them because I mean so much of Nintendo's hardware, especially in the portable market, has always sold extremely well with Pokemon products.
They have a long-standing partnership, right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, they may as well be Nintendo from the front-facing part of it, but they're not actually owned by them. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I kind of want to see. Now I'm feeling the drama with you, John. I want to see how this pans out. I want to see if they react to the pressure or not.
Wait, John, why don't you play Witcher? Why don't you replace Pokemon Go with Monster Hunter?
Yeah, has anyone tried that yet?
Isn't it by the same company?
I don't know.
Hold on.
It's by CD Projekt Red. I think CD Projekt Red is doing it, right?
Well,
like maybe they have a partner for the mobile stuff, but like,
let's see.
Who's doing the Witcher?
Witcher Monster Slayer. It's called. It's Your Hunt Begins. Okay, let me see who makes this. This is made by. Developer is Spoko.
Hey, the clean slate, man. We don't know anything about them. It's safe.
Yeah, they haven't made anybody angry yet.
Oh,
They haven't done.
this is
We
reviewing
haven't heard
well.
any of the bad news from this company, so let's do it.
This is actually reviewed okay.
Yeah, I thought I heard good things about it, but it's just, I mean, it's not my kind of game. But if I was to play a game like that, I would probably pick a cool ass Witcher game than Pokemon.
Yeah, but what
Even
if?
though we're about to talk about some Pokemon later, but we'll get to that.
Right, but if that was a Witcher game, you might play that MOBA. A Witcher MOBA. That'd be cool.
I mean, they had a DC Universe MOBA and a Transformers MOBA, and those failed too. There's more to it than the IP. But
Well, they never even launched that DC one. I was pissed about that. They had it in beta and they tested it, but they never launched the damn thing. I was pissed because I liked
you
it.
need to the game. There's a lot more that goes into it than just the IP. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, money.
No.
All right, well done. We've done it, you guys. That means we've made time and room for a Dear Martha review. Yeah, that's right. Steam reviews from Dear Martha, and not from Martha, but from her husband, whoever his name may be, or her husband.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out which one that is today with a reading from John as we look into another Dear Martha Steam review. Enjoy.
My dearest Martha, today I present to you a review for the game The Ascent. Martha, they fixed Cyberpunk. Yours in this life and the next, Kaiser.
Wow.
True, but also not true.
Yeah, true but not true, but also kind of true, but not true.
But true, but not true.
I have
true.
more. You want to do a couple
wanna do
others? I have a
another-
bunch of short ones.
Yeah,
so
let's do another one. Okay, number
I like
two.
the idea of the husband just like, I have a review for you, and the wife would be like, jerk. Like, it's all you gotta do is write your damn game reviews to me.
That's
I'd
good.
marry you.
All right, give it. Let's wait. Hold on. Let's reset the clock. Here we go. All right, number two.
My dearest Martha, today I present to you a review for Power Wash Simulator. Martha, why are you reading reviews for Power Wash Simulator? The moment you saw there was a game about power washing, you knew if you wanted this game or not. And whichever of those you are, you're 100% right. I knew instantly I would love it. And I do. Yours in this life and the next, rediscover.
By the way, I agree wholeheartedly with that review. It's awesome. Power Wash
Yeah,
Simulator
it's like
is
he called
rad.
us both out.
Yeah, it's really good.
And Scott sees Power Watch. He's like, I gotta play. I'm like, oh no, chores.
Now, do you have a final one, John? One last.
Sure.
take?
I have up to 3 more. We can do as many or as few as you'd like.
I'm a big believer in the law of threes. Let's do a third. So
Okay,
here we go.
Let's
Let's do that.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now a review for the game Graveyard Keeper. Martha, I think graveyards look a little overcrowded these days. People must be dying to get in. Yours in this life and the next. Damn.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, that might be my favorite because it's a terrible dad joke, but the pause just made it. That was really great. All right, well done, as always.
Well delivered, well told.
Yeah.
Not so well written, but you didn't write them, so don't take
it's
offense to
not,
that.
yeah. It's not his writing. Yes, Saban in the chat. This can be its own podcast. You watch. It's coming. All right, let's get to our games. Hey, we played a bunch of games. I wanted to tell you guys about some hardware first, though. I bought for a review. It was actually for this and the Boop Show. I thought this would be a cool device to talk about, and it would be one that would apply to both indies and mainstream gaming. And so I got one. It's called the BackBone. Look at this. You think phone games are dumb? Well, I got some news for you.
Is that a phone? We put your phone in between the handles?
You do. And let me show you how it works.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and do
Is
it
that
right
from
now.
Xbox?
I
No.
used to only like one phone game, and now I like 0.
You're like none. Well, this wouldn't help you anyway because I don't think Go would benefit from this at all. However,
Is it still a phone game if you put it in that though?
Well, not really. That's kind of what
Doesn't
I love about
doesn't
it.
that turn it into a Switch? Like, are you?
That's basically it.
How do you think that would work on your brain, John? If you add it looked like a Switch. You know what I mean? Like, would you play an okay game, not a gotcha mobile game, but if it was like, Battleheart, for example.
Like, okay, so Scott's got his Xbox Series X pulled up here, and he's playing legitimate video games on it.
Yeah, I'm playing real
I don't
games.
know. I have no desire to play a game on my phone. Like, that's the big issue. That's where the line is drawn. I don't mind playing games on my Switch. I don't mind playing games on a tablet. I have zero desire to play a game on my phone. I need my phone to be a phone. That's what I need it for.
Well, that despite your old man attitude, let's talk for a second about what's possible.
Yes.
I'm going to fire up Game Pass via xCloud real quick here.
Oh, now we're getting
somewhere.
Now he's going to just play some.
Now it's like a Steam Deck, but it's more of a
it's a Steam
Xbox.
Deck. All right, so as an example, I'm firing up a game of just a quick play of.
Why did you pick NBA
2K1? Because it's just the first thing that was on Game Pass.
Okay.
So there it is. It's Game Pass. It's NBA 2K.
I mean, it looks like a Switch or a Steam Deck to me.
Yeah, it's very Steam Decky. Look, there's the team. They're all high-fiving. All right, you guys, we can go out there and play a good game of ball. All right, let's get in there. Of course, you have all the sound.
It's like I'm watching a network broadcast of basketball.
Why don't I have sound? Oh. So here you go. Here's some sound. Let me skip ahead here. All right, we're gonna jump. We're gonna do the jump. All right, you ready?
This is a great podcasting contest.
Yeah. This is off. Listen to him squeaking. Get the
Bo
squeak.
and John watched Scott play basketball on his phone.
For audio listeners, though, it really does look like a handheld device. Like, I mean, it's at the point where it's like, yeah, it's a phone, but right now it isn't a phone. It's a screen.
How much did that cost? That thing's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's $100.
That's a lot of money.
It is, but I would argue one of the strengths of it is this. The build quality is really good. Like, I was surprised by this. It's not plasticky and janky and squeaky. It's solid. There's rubber backing where you put your phone in. It doesn't need batteries because it uses your phone. Just plugs right into the port.
It looks like it could still fit in your pocket. You know, like if you're a businessman, you can still put it into the pocket of your slacks.
You probably could.
And when you pull it out, it probably look a little weird when you're on a call. But you just be like, "Hey, I'm a gamer. Anyways, I'm taking a phone call."
Guess
like,
what else?
Why take it off?
Guess what else this runs, Bo? This runs. Also, by the way, it runs the best version I've ever played of Among Us. For whatever reason, it's just really fun on here, nice and tight. Tight. I played. So as you go through this little interface they have this like kind of front end, PlayStation, Xbox style interface built right into it, and it just says, "Well, here's a game you might like," and it tells you where they're at. So those 3 games are on Apple Arcade. That one's on the App Store just in general. There's Dead Cells, it's just a full blown game. Here's Game Pass. Here's Stadia. So there's a bunch of Stadia games listed.
So it's a Steam Deck for cheaper.
Kind of. There's it has a whole list for GeForce Now. So NVIDIA's GeForce Now games are also playable on this, and they did.
So you can stream Cyberpunk 2077 on that.
Whatever you're playing, you can do it.
Valhalla Vikings or Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, or Swords of Legends is on here.
Or Swords of Legends. Or why not?
You could probably do without.
It's also a Steam Link, so if you want to just stream from your Steam box, wherever that's in your house, you can do that.
Oh, you can do Steam streaming as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it really is a Steam Deck.
It really is. And the Game Pass, by the way, if you buy it, they give you 3 months of Game Pass for free. That's for anybody who maybe doesn't already have Game Pass.
Oh, wow.
So they got a deal going with Microsoft. They got a deal going with NVIDIA. Like, they are really actually trying to be the deck for console gamers. The sticks themselves feel a little bit tighter and better than the Switch sticks. The buttons, some people think they're here. Let me turn it off. So I'm not.
How is it on the battery?
So hear that? They think that's clicky. I don't. I like it. It's just tactile.
How is it on the battery?
No more. I'm not drawing any more battery from the phone than if I had another kind of controller hooked up to it. So
if you're just playing whatever game on. Okay.
Yeah, and it has pass-through chargings. If you want to charge it while it's in here, you don't have to take it apart. You can just stick it through there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
There we go.
And it's got a headphone jack if you want, or you can just use your wireless earbud.
Why did I buy a Switch? Oh my god.
Well, because you're but
you
that's
can't
the other
play
thing.
Pokemon Unite on.
Not yet, but Pokemon Unite
Not yet,
comes
but
out
you will
here.
be able to actually.
Yeah, that comes out here in like less than a month, so I'm pretty excited. But anyway, it lets you stream and
I really didn't need to buy a Switch. I could have bought a what's it called? BackBone?
It's called a
Quick,
BackBone.
buy a Mario game, then you're solid.
It's fine. I want to play Metroid Dread. I'm good.
Yeah, you're not going to get any IPs from Nintendo on here. Although there are already some people doing some pretty wacky hackery business with this thing. But I have to say, I got this as a business expense to say, let's test it for indie games, mostly for the Boop Show, but also for here. I wanted to just kind of see what it was capable of. And if there was a way to make your phone feel like a more viable gaming device with, that isn't just like a weird clip-on controller or having it wireless and propping your phone up somewhere like it's a screen or whatever. Those are all just kind of janky ways of doing it. This actually works for me a lot. I really, really like it. And way more than I thought I was gonna. Like, this is a full recommend for me. Now, this is the iPhone version. I don't know if they even make an Android version. They may. I don't know.
What the funniest part about this is that, like, you can play Diablo Immortal on this, and the fact that they made it a mobile game is kind of a joke.
Right.
Like, they could have just made a game for all platforms and on your mobile phone, right? Because
Right.
like just the way direction everything's going, right? It's like the handhelds are coming in to form, and I think cell phones will be already a part of that.
Yeah.
It just seems like, they delayed too long and they're missing their window. Because like now I can play Game Pass. Like, why would I play a mobile version of Diablo when I can play Ascent on my phone?
Oh, I should say,
Like-
so if you have Apple Arcade, this is a huge bump. But like you just mentioned Game Pass, and I should mention this. Game Pass has 2 points of latency. Sorry, not Game Pass, but xCloud. Okay.
Okay.
Which is Game Pass. The 2 points of latency are, no matter where you're using it, your browser, an old laptop, whatever, phones, tablets. The 1 point of latency is the service is going to have some level of latency, period. Now, it may not be too discernible or people don't care because it's still cool or whatever, but you're going to have a little bit of that streaming latency. That's just built in. That's part of the product. The better your internet, the less you're going to have. Just like it's the same with GeForce Now, same thing. So I'm kind of describing all these services. What I like about this is because I'm not wirelessly connecting a controller to this thing, it is hard bumped in there. Like, this isn't being Bluetoothed in. It is being hard bound into the system. It's like having a wired controller, which means that second point of latency, which is controller latency, doesn't exist. It's removed from the equation. So everything, including those Stadia games, which are already pretty good on the latency side, are using the controller as if it was wired in directly, because it is, and you eliminate the added latency of controller latency plus the streaming service latency. So it may sound like a small thing, but it's actually kind of mega. And I've tried it both ways. It is noticeably less lag when you use something like this versus like a PS4 controller that's just wireless or whatever.
That's pretty exciting, man.
Yeah, I like it. So I highly recommend it. If it's, look for it on sale, or if the Game Pass free 3 months is a way of looking at how you can get it for less, or however you want to look at it. But I think even for $100, at first I was like, is this really going to be worth that? Totally worth it. And I've been playing, I forgot to tell you guys, I've been playing The Last Campfire from Hello Games, the guys who make No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky.
Is that out?
Yeah, it's out. Well, it started here because they made it exclusive to Apple Arcade to start with. It's also on Epic Game Store, and it's coming to Steam in like a month. It's on Switch also, so you can play this game on a Switch. But it's part of the Apple Arcade thing, and it uses the controller just fine. So I was like, well, I already have it. I'll play it here. And it's awesome. That game's great. Yeah. That's a good game. Like a legit
what kind of
game
is it? Because I actually don't know anything about it.
So it's like puzzles. How do I describe this? Oh, geez. I know you don't like games where it's so artsy, they're up their own butt, But that's not what this is. This feels earned. Like, it's artsy, but it doesn't feel like it's, hey, look at us. It's more like, this is what we want to make. This is the story we want to tell. I'm going to give you an example of the let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. So I want you to hear the narrator lady. I want her to call me every night and put me to sleep. Okay. And I don't mean this in a creepy way, but if there is ASMR and if I am ever sensitive to it, this might be the voice that did it. So listen to this, just a taste of it. I'll try to find a part. Here, let me go back. All right. Little guy just has to talk to somebody. Okay. He's not doing it yet. So this is, here, let me go back. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, found it. Oh, maybe. All right, hold on. I know.
The flame spoke and Ember listened.
This little guy is named Ember, and this chick talks all the time. She's awesome. Here we go. All right, he just saved a soul, so he's going to give there's this thing. I'm not really describing the game very well, but I just want you to hear her talk. Okay. I picked like the worst time.
I swear it's the best. I mean, I heard a little bit of it, so I have an
The
idea.
flame lingered ahead.
So it's lots of little short.
Was it trying to escape?
Oh, I wish I had a
Or
big chunk.
leading the way?
I gotta hear her
Simple.
talk. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay. Go back. Okay, hold on. Okay. Just a second. All right, here you go. You guys ready? This is it. All right.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, he wakes
Yeah.
up. Here we go. He wakes up. Now she'll talk. Shit. She's not talking.
Ember ran,
Oh,
because standing still made them feel helpless.
okay, here's some more. He just
The
found
wall glistened.
the wall glistened. Hold on, there's more.
The painting showed embers on a sacred journey.
Like the best comparison, I mean, she's just great. The best comparison I could make would be like Journey meets
Sounds like No Man's Sky, honestly. It's very atmospheric.
that too. Like it's definitely, you can feel their prowess in atmosphere here. It's very, very crafted and beautiful, and it's it's a 3D platformer type thing. There's puzzles to solve. Gameplay wise, it's mostly about those puzzles, and they're smart puzzles that seem impossible maybe at first, but then you're like, oh no, I know what to do, and then you feel like a genius when you solve them. That kind of stuff. It's a really neat little game, and it reviewed extremely well when it hit the phone and Epic, and then everyone I think kind of just didn't see it because it wasn't on Steam and some of the other major platforms. But it's on the Switch. It's coming to consoles if it's not already there. Apple Arcade has it. It's a great version of that. And what else was I going to say about it? It's just awesome. Anyway, but I got so lost. Okay, John. So here's my big sales pitch. I'm playing this, and I got my headphones in. And at first, when I put this together, I went, all right, my phone is sideways between two plastic controller pieces. Like, I was just kind of like, duh, right? And I don't know if this is going to be my thing or not. I got so immersed in that game and the seamless connectivity this provided to it that I forgot where I was. I got so into it. I was out in the dark on the porch for hours just running around, and her going, Ember found a thing and then poked it on another thing with it and then walked down the other thing. Like, she's just amazing. It's so good, you guys. I love it. All right.
You know what? I think that is cool. I don't have $100, but if I did, I would think about
You'd consider it.
because I think that's neat. I think right now one of the biggest things, we talked about how cool it is that you can stream your Xbox content to a device, but right now the idea of getting my phone and finding a thing to prop it up against and getting my Xbox controller paired and doing all that is way too much work. But if I have a thing where it's just like, they just connect and I just play a real game on there, not some shite mobile game, like, all right, I'm in. That sounds cool.
That includes, by the way, the Ascent, which I played a bunch of it on this, which continued my progress from my console play of it, which continued my progress from my PC play of it. Because I wanted to just do the whole schmear and see how it felt, and it felt real good to do that. So anyway, I was going to bring it up.
Neat. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. For me, I'm a hand-me-down phone guy. People give me their old shite phones. I've got an iPhone 6, and apparently Slack is no longer supported soon on this thing.
No!
So,
Better move.
I mean,
to
I think
Discord.
it'll still work. It's just no longer supported.
Sure.
So that's probably won't pick one up, but just for that reason, I'm usually like about 8 versions behind what everyone's using for phones.
So just for funsies, I'm just going to run the Ascent real quick on here. Check this out. So this is Game Pass. Whoops. Let's get Scott up here. Okay. So Unreal Engine, blah, blah, blah. And then just, this is not a great angle, but
That's how I play all video games.
this is how you do it.
Yep, exactly like that.
I think that's bad for your back. You'll get costochondritis that way.
So I'll just hit continue. This is where I am in the Ascent. And you can see how the movement of this thing. Oh, you know what? I forgot. The Ascent has that really long load at the beginning, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Ascent is not a perfect game. I mean, jokes aside, it's on your list next.
We may
so
as well
We're,
talk
yeah,
about
we're
it.
about to all
sort of
talk about it
dovetail,
because
so you can keep showing it,
played
but
it.
No, it's fine. There's a big load screen. But
people
let's
like to
talk
make
about
their
it.
jokes about Cyberpunk and the Ascent, but the Ascent has some big time jank in it too. It's just really good.
It's just
so
a
it gets the
really
benefit
yes.
of the doubt.
So let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk about the Ascent, and we can all talk about our time with it. The look of it, the feel of it, the music, the sound, the texturing, just the amazing amount of detail, that city, the underground stuff is so my jam, dude. I mean, it's beautiful and ugly, like ugly beautiful, just amazing environments that I just fell in love with immediately. Even down in the stink or whatever it's called, where you do all the tutorial time.
Deep stink.
The deep stink, which is really worse than just the stink, isn't it? The
It's
deep
a
stink.
deeper
The
stink.
deep stink.
Yeah. Is
It's the
so
deepest.
oh my gosh, it's so just immediately I was like, oh, look at this, look at the lighting, and I couldn't even turn on, it's a whole other controversy, but you can't turn on the ray tracing or anything on the PC version yet, because for some reason that version on Game Pass is not working right with those settings, whereas if you have the Steam version it does, but the Xbox version is showing those settings or running with them. So anyway, the place to play it right now if you're on Game Pass is the console. It still looks great on PC. You just are going to miss some features if your card's super fancy. Anyway, I really liked it from minute go, and really enjoying it. I will say, however, after playing it a whole bunch, it has some serious difficulty spikes that come and creep up on you, and it's rough. And I don't love that in a game. I like a smoother, transition from where you are to where you're going, and this game really throws in the spikes occasionally, and you die a lot, and saving is not an option. You have to just have, it's all checkpoint saving. So if you made a bunch of progress, sorry, you got to go back to wherever your last save was. So it's got its problems and its issues, but given that it's a small team and I expect some cool updates coming from those guys, I am super, super into this game.
The hardest part of this game is not to kill innocent bystanders. Like at one point you're in a airport or something, and there's people everywhere, and there's like bad guys. I mow down like 50 They're all like everywhere you shoot people. It's kind of like fun. It's a shootout in a public area. They're running and screaming. But I fire a rocket at the bad guy, and like some family just gets blown up. It's like it's all over the place.
So I have a question about that. I'm not far enough to know. Is there a penalty for that sort of thing?
No. It's,
okay, good.
It's for the
Because I don't care. The little robots are running around going, I don't want to die. I shoot them.
Yeah,
and then
That's
it's
fine.
like,
It's the people that are a little harder to take, but yeah.
No, the game was even like, hey, sometimes you'll run across people that don't want to fight you and are nice. I'm like, no, they're going to die too. Like, my character is chaotic evil, not good. I shoot everything in this game. Like,
You just want to play Diablo, which
yeah.
would be my criticism of the game, because as much as the environments are gorgeous, there's a lot of periods of also just walking. Like there's like in the deep stink, as you get to the end of that first level, the angle changes and shows you this big thing, and you're like, oh damn, this is a Contra, this is a super Contra like camera position change. It's boss time. No, it's just you walk to the exit. It's a big thing, and it's cool, but it's a little bit of a letdown, and also when you're backtracking to complete quests, it's like, okay, I guess I'm just walking.
Yeah, their quick travel or their fast travel does not really exist, and that's a little bit of a bummer.
Cab to higher floors, even though they're flying cars.
Yeah.
So you take these flying taxis around, but then you got to go ascend up the arcology. Well, you got to take a taxi to the elevator, go up the elevator, call another taxi, and go to another. And I'm like, yeah, you guys need to some parts of this game they need to work on. I just want to shoot things.
Yeah.
And like, because even the story I skip. Like, I get to a quest giver, I'm like, blah 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 blah. Okay, give me the shooting. Get me the shooting. This is not Cyberpunk, actually. The story is not good. Like it's flavorful and okay, but I'm not really interested. I want to blow things up. That's what it does really well.
Yeah, the dual
I
sticks
think
shooting
it's
is great.
a testament to how I feel about the gameplay that my biggest issue has been the pacing as well. Because I've definitely been, when I'm running and gunning and picking up loot and walking through boxes and opening chests and all that, I'm having a great time. And when people want to talk to me, I'm not having as much fun in the game. I don't think the story is particularly compelling yet or interesting. I do think it's better than Cyberpunk, but
No, there's no way. There's
So-
no way. There is no way. It's like an insult to reality to say that, honestly.
so I don't know if that's actually true. I did that.
It is, well, yeah, I'll tell you. I played both now. Like, narratively, you know, if it was just based on story alone, like, you would agree. I think it's just everyone. Cyberpunk's, it's fun to kick them because, you know, they suck. They did a lot of shitty things, and
they
it's fun.
deserve it.
Yeah, they kind
So,
of do.
but I'm having a good time with it. I mean, the gameplay is fun. It is a game where I'm like, I wonder if they'll fix all my issues with it, or I wonder if it's just going to be like a big long wait to get really excited about the Ascent 2. Because like Bo, it's one of those things where it's like, man, there's so many things that they're hitting on, but there's things that just feel completely absent where I'm like, that should exist here, and it's maybe too big for it to be patched in, or for expectations to be that it gets patched in. So I don't know. I don't think any of the problems I have with the game are unsolvable, but yeah, it is a game where I enjoyed the gameplay. I feel like they nailed the hard to hit part, and the rest is just okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I got some questions for you about impressions. First impression, what do you think of the verticality, like the cover mechanic?
The mechanic is not much of a mechanic. You basically crouch and you can do a shoot over.
I mean, do you
It's
like it or
fine.
do you hate it? I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't mind cover. I just feels like it's not like I move
Feels
out of
like-
it too easy. It's not like I lock into
Yeah.
cover gears wise. I kind of wish it was. I don't know. It's hard to
Like,
explain.
it makes sense, but it just feels out of place when you want to go hog with a rocket launcher and Diablo. You know, Diablo style, you want to run around, kill things. I hate ducking and being like, and then I shoot the rocket into the wall in front of me because I'm crouching, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I was ducking, and you know, like,
Yeah.
I would much rather play this game without the crouching. John, did you like the
I-
crouching or no?
I feel like this game plays better as a run and gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
game trying to be something other than a run and gun, it starts to fall apart. Like the whole aim high thing too. Like I don't
Yeah,
like that
I
either.
don't love it.
Because for one, my character looks cooler when they're aiming high, so I want to do it all the time. And then you fight something that's short, and it's like you can't hit it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because your character's walking around just stupidly holding a gun, shooting stuff, but then you aim high and it looks like they actually are aiming the gun. I'm like, well, this is what I should look like all the time.
Yeah.
So it feels like they stumbled on the game that's fun, which is
Yeah.
me running and gunning and shooting things. And
Yeah.
they put in a bunch of mechanics that are like, hey, well, what if you did cover, or what if you crouched, or what if you did this? And it's like, I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it shouldn't be in the game at all, but it almost feels like maybe the game could benefit from like classes, to where maybe if that's the way you want to play, you can do it. And if you want to be just a run and gunner, like maybe
I think it
that's
would
a
be better
way
as
to
like a
go.
slide dash. Like if it made a slide dash where you could actually dodge abilities rather, because there's a
Yeah.
jump, but if you could slide dash and still shoot rather than stop shooting in order to jump, like there's a few things I'd like to see them tweak. I found it awkward too.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Did you find the reggaeton song?
Reggaeton?
No.
No.
Okay, well, you have to keep playing at least till you get to this one part, because it's like reggae, like it's like dance hall reggae, but it's like I'm pretty sure it's alien language. So it's oodaluli, and then don't eat that, and don't eat that, do that, boo, oodaluli, and then don't start, dude. It's the greatest music I have ever heard in gaming. Like, and it's the whole game is like either synthwave,
Yeah.
or it's like rock music, and then all of a sudden there's this dance hall reggae in the weirdest place, and I was like, oh my god, I love this game for this song. And it's all alien, it's all like Star Wars talk, like it's like anyways, that
What's the name of it? Do you know?
I don't know, like I think that's what it's called. Like
I want to find it.
Google like reggaeton or reggae cyber the Ascent
Okay, so
reggae
here,
song.
I have the
It is
soundtrack.
greatest.
I have the soundtrack right here. There's a bunch of tracks on here. Let's see. Welcome Home, War and Space Allies, Ascension, Galactic Scrapyard, Pristine Facade, D-Nexus, Synthetic Spirit. Maybe that. Let's see.
No,
It's not that.
no, not it. No, it's dance hall reggae.
Okay. How about, let's see. Sterile. Let's see if this is it. Sterile. Nope. That sounds like
No.
High Street, Below the Slums, maybe. Let's see. No.
No, that's all soundtracky music.
It's got to be on here, though, right?
Oh, hey, there's a song called Dragon Feud here, by the way, written for you guys, I'm sure.
Dragon Feud. No way. That's cool.
I don't know, man.
Oh, this stuff's good, though. I love this kind of music.
Yeah, it's got a pretty great soundtrack, but this reggae song, it's the great. I don't think it's in here. I mean, I worry that it's in a language of Earth. Maybe I'm just being offensive, but it definitely sounded like Star Wars. You thought it was Dancehall Days by Wang Chung?
It's not this.
Maybe it's a real song?
I don't find it. Well, all right. If someone in the chat,
but anyways, if I find it, maybe on the next episode we can share. But that is amazing.
I'd love to hear it.
The last one I want to ask you guys about is: are you playing controller or mouse and keyboard?
Controller.
I find the games way better mouse and keyboard.
Oh, whoa, really?
I'm playing with the controller as well.
Oh,
don't stop it. Play with mouse and keyboard. It's Diablo. Like you do move with WASD, and it's a bit awkward, but the aiming just feels so much better aiming with my mouse than trying to push 15 buttons at the same time to remember to duck or not. Oh,
I
yeah.
do think
I hate
the control of it, and this is probably why I like it as a run and gun, is because aiming with the controller sucks. Like the amount of times I miss while I'm trying to shoot like basic shots. Like you know, the enemy will be coming from the lower left-hand corner of the screen. You aim the right stick in that direction, and somehow you still manage to miss most of your shots. I was just like, this doesn't feel good. So I can see it working better with mouse and keyboard. I just don't know if I want to.
The one drawback to mouse and keyboard is WASD is only 4 directions. You don't do 9 directions. So it is a little less precise on the movement side, which can be a little annoying. But I like it way better than the controller. Oh my god. Like just having a fiddle with... I mean, I play with aim assist off. Maybe with the aim assist on it's better, but... Then I don't.
Chad is saying set it to max and the game will feel better. So
set what to max? Aim assist?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I turn aim assist off, man. I play the game for real, or I don't play it. Sorry to be
look at you,
a
get
bro
good.
about it, but like it's just aim assist is for people that need assistance.
But wait a minute, it's so weird. You're like, I don't play aim assist. But do mouse and keyboard because you can't aim for shit. If you don't. Like.
Well, it's not aim assist to use a different input system. It's when the bullet automatically goes to the guy in order to help.
Oh, no. Yeah, it doesn't do that. It does. It's aim assist just helps you. Well, I guess it locks onto the dude. So, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, aim assist means like you miss, but let's say it's a hit, which is fine. No judgment. But for me, I know I can hit things. And if I can't, I want to get better at it. So it's just not for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's not a judgment. If you like aim assist, it's fine. That's why I said I'm sorry to be a bro about it, but I can't play with aim assist. So if I've got to play with aim assist to play your controller game, then I'm just not going to play it. So that's just me. Just me.
It's a bow thing, guys. So GG uninstalls what he's saying. That's what he's
saying. Get good is what Bo says.
I play with a mouse and keyboard. That's all. Guys, it's a mouse and keyboard.
It's totally fine.
I'm just as, I die just as much as with the controller, I'm sure. But I prefer it.
Well, you're not the first I've heard that like the keyboard mouse combo. So I think there's like a general sense that it's a pretty good thing.
Oh, have you guys picked up testicles?
Just now.
Is that just in
there's
general,
a mission where you go pick up in the deep stink to pick up like nard. What do they call those guys? Like flarks or something? You have to kill them and pick up their testicles.
Really?
Yeah, you have to collect 10 testicles.
I haven't done that quest yet. So.
Oh, okay. Well, enjoy.
I want to get on.
Sorry to spoil the game for you.
But, but you guys agree with me about the look of this thing, right? Like,
it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's what gorgeous. I wish Cyberpunk looked like. Like, not trolling Bo in this case.
Yeah.
Like,
sure, absolutely.
This is genuinely what I wish Cyberpunk.
And you know what?
Environment is the star of the show in this thing.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? This is what it made me desire. Above all things, this is what I desire. XCOM style game set in that setting. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. I want a turn-based. I want.
But with like, here's what I want. I want everything you just said, but I want like highly destructible, lots of particle effect environments.
Yes.
I want you to shoot through a wall and all the neon lights explode and spark and glass goes everywhere and steam comes out of vents. Like, I want it to push the particles to an insane degree, destructibility.
Yeah.
I want that. That's my perfect game right now.
I would agree that the environment for this is way more evocative of Cyberpunk than Cyberpunk for sure.
Oh yeah, I just want to live in there. I want story. I want movies set in this. I want the setting is just absolutely amazing, and just the level of like detritus and garbage and bits and bobs and pieces and exploding stuff is really cool. The sound works really good. Like that stuff is top notch, top shelf. I think the pacing and the story are your weaknesses here. So hopefully they can. I don't know what they can do to that, but maybe they'll do something. The chat room, Sidian said something interesting. He says there's a lot of weirdly on the nose sexual language in the game, which I genuinely can't tell whether or not is supposed to be satirical. I mean, we've talked about this before. Cyberpunk as a genre is full of those things, and it's always been hard for me to tell. I don't know when. Not that whether it's satirical or not, but whether or not I'm supposed to go, oh, well, that's the setting. So just like, a horrible scene of racism in a movie, I know it's a movie and what's being portrayed is part of the art and also part of the discussion and part of the whatever. They're not exploiting it. They're blah, blah, blah. I sometimes in Cyberpunk stuff, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to approach it.
I think if it's ambiguous, I think it's doing it well. Honestly, I think if you're not sure, then I think it's doing it well. I think the criticism that I had for Cyberpunk 2077 was that it was too on the nose.
Yeah.
I think when it's too overt, I don't like it. When you go to a place in a game and it's called the Guzzler and you're like, well, that sounds a little weird.
Yeah.
How should I feel about visiting the Guzzler?
Yeah.
Like that's the sweet spot. But
yeah, the tough thing about the Cyberpunk brand from the pen and paper RPG is that Ascent is a Cyberpunk vision made in 2021.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, the pen and paper RPG, is a vision of the near future from the point of view of the 1980s.
Yeah.
So it's actually alternate history Cyberpunk.
Right.
That's also why there's some weirdness with it, because if you were starting from scratch, you would do a lot of things differently than what occurs in the actual Cyberpunk game. And not a lot of people are going to clue into that because that's a big ask. Please know about this niche pen and paper game in order to appreciate our video game. It's like no, that's the tough thing, and that explains some of what's going on, why it's overt. Like in the 80s. Like William Gibson Neuromancer level Cyberpunk in the 80s and 90s was very much low life meets high tech, and they are punks. It's like Sid Vicious and Sex Pistols. They are punk. They are overt, over the top punks like that way from the vision of that era.
Right.
That's not how we would write Cyberpunk today.
Right.
Because it's just not how. That's not our cultural values today.
Well, it's a cool game. How long I stick with it will depend a little bit on their patch plans and stuff. Because for me, I don't know. For me, just tightening a few things up would really help that game. But it's pretty rad. Yeah. I played Lawnmower Simulator. I can't say a ton because there's a bit of an embargo on the overall game. But I played.
Really? You don't want to ruin lawn
no.
mowing for people?
Well, okay. It came out. It was a demo, part of that summer demo thing that Steam did. So most people know what the point of it, and I can talk about that. The point of the game is basically. It's what you think it is. It's a chore core game where you go, you go buy a lawnmower and you start your business, and it's set in
Careful,
Britain.
Scott. Can you tell people what you do with the lawnmower, or is that going too far over embargo?
I can tell you that you can you mow lawns, and you do it in Europe.
Oh,
you do it's a European thing, and you get euros for doing it, or pounds maybe. I'm not sure, actually, now that I don't actually remember. But anyway, you buy the thing, you take the jobs, you go mow their lawns. If you do a good job and don't cut up flowers and F up the grass or do anything too low or high or whatever, don't wreck your mower and all that, you make money and you buy better mowers, you buy a better company, building, you have more bays for more
bays?
More, well,
I've got bays for days.
They're called, what are they called? The rider mowers, where you drive them. That's the kind of mowing, not like pushing a mower. It's not one of those.
So you killed John.
So you ride on that thing and you mow lawns, and it's weird how fun it is. It's one of those, man. I don't know. There's something satisfying because their grass tech is really good. Their grass tech looks good. And when you finish a yard or do a big chunk of it, it's satisfying because you can see the difference between the high grass and the nice cut grass.
I mean, I'm really happy to hear this because there's all kinds of fun activities that you can video gamify, and for someone to go into grass fidelity for this thing, like it's impressive.
Right. And
it makes you happy to hear that,
that
we have all these experiences.
It's got basically, RPG trappings. You're leveling up and getting more money and improving your gear and tweaking out your mowers and buying new mowers and eventually you're going to get these really high-end ones that are that can cut corners and go around trees real easy and this sort of stuff. And that's the game.
Sorry. I can't stop laughing about this alternate reality take that Bo and I have secretly developed while you were talking.
Can I ask you with the lawnmower? One of the things that I used to get in shit for from my dad was if I was like using the weed whacker too close to the house, I'd bang up the siding, and he was like, "No, point it down, and don't hit it too hard, even on the cement. You can crack it." Like, are there any sort of mechanics like that where you can damage things?
There are, although you're not doing any weed whacking, but the mowers themselves, if you get too close to a hedge,
it's a deal. It's an X-Pac.
Yeah, it's an expansion. Exactly.
It's an important part of mowing the lawn.
It is because it's the finish work. But when you get up like next to a wall, you can damage the wall. You can also damage cement if you're not if you're on the cement, you're supposed to lift your blades up. So there's a button for that. It's like an actual mower. So you don't want to do that. If you do, you may hurt your blades. You may hurt their cement. If you do, you incur fines, so you get less profit. If you try to do like a quick donut in somebody's grass, it will do what happens in real life. Your blade will lean too low and like carve out some soil, and you don't want that. So you get dinged for that. You don't want to run over their flowers. You don't want to leave mohawks. You know what I'm talking about? Where you're doing a strip and you leave like a between the two runs, you left a mohawk. You don't want to do that. You want to kill those.
Can you run over your own cord? I remember I was getting yelled at that to be careful because I think it's bad.
Well, these are gas or fuel based, so you don't have any cords.
Oh,
and you're riding them.
Can you run the mower without a bag on it and threaten the lives of passersby when you go over dirt clods?
No, but I'm glad you asked this. So I have two mowers. I have one that throws it all in a bag, which I have to empty when it gets full.
Yeah.
And I have a mower that mulches. And so different jobs are going to ask you for different capabilities. Some want you to mulch. Some of you want to have the bag. Some want you to just have it scatter, but you want to make sure it's neat and clean and not thrown all over the yard. This sort of stuff. But here's the weirdest thing. There's a phase in the game when you first start somebody's yard. You'll be standing there next to your trailer where your mower's standing on there with its four wheels. It's a rider mower. And your job is to do it in the first 4 minutes. You have 4 minutes to run around the yard and find anything that someone left out there. So,
yep.
So you run around and find like a kid's toy, or over here's a sprinkler someone forgot to pick up and move, or there's a hose, or somebody left a brake, or whatever. And there's like 6 or 7 of these things, and you got to go around and find them. They're kind of hard to see, and when you get them all, it goes bling. You've got all the items. Okay, now go, and then you just go mow, and it's great.
Do you ever find the shrunken family of the people who live in the house?
Like Rick Moranis and company?
No.
Yeah, it's just like 3 kids going.
I mean, there are people walking. There's cars and activity and people walking on the sidewalks outside of the yards, like in the neighborhoods where there's a lot of activity. But I've never met the people that live in any of the houses I'm mowing yet. One guy did leave his sports car in the way, and I kept bumping into it, but whatever.
I guess it is a simulator. When you pay people to do that stuff, you don't really socialize with them.
Yeah, you don't hang out with them. Yeah. But there's something about just being on a rider mower in particular. I never had one growing up, but my friend did, so I'd use his sometimes. And just making perfect stripes and turn it around and get it right just down to the line and have it look nice. And there's something there. And are there
branded machines like the John Deere? John Deere was a big deal. I remember like 20 years ago. Like, you got a John, like the adults were talking, hey, you got a John Deere there? It's like, yeah, it cuts great. It's like, I don't like that name brand stuff. I just go with whatever other brand. Like, I think there's even a country music song about the John Deere that cuts grass.
Yeah, they do have branded stuff. However, I haven't seen John Deere yet, and that may be because a lot of people are pissed at John Deere as a brand because they don't let you update the software yourself when you own one. You have to go through them. It's a big nightmare. It's a lot
There's
of chips
software on a lawnmower?
Oh yeah. That high, like tractors and all that stuff. It's a big deal. You want to go down a rabbit hole, go look that up sometime. Like fair use laws, that stuff's all hung up in a bunch of John Deere bullshit. It's crazy how much this comes up all the time on Tom's Tech Show. But anyway, I'm showing the chat some video now. They can kind of see how this works. This is like the starter mower. And they give you a nice tutorial on how to do everything. But really the controllers are what you think they are, or the controls. I'm not using keyboard and mouse. I'm using a controller. It just feels good on the mower.
Yeah, wow. The grass fidelity. Jeez.
Yeah, it's good, right? See, here he is. He just picked up a gnome. He's doing that stage first.
It almost makes it a shame that it's just for grass cutting, because I bet you there'd be a lot of people who just love to do gardening in that.
Well,
like they should do gardening simulator.
And they kind of have that in House Flipper. They have the whole garden DLC where you do that.
They could just keep the same engine, design new levels, and make a second game. And like I know people who might like just to do gardening.
Yeah, you could probably do that. The graphics are really nice. That's the other thing. Is this is not an ugly game at all. It's a good looking.
Is there no weird houses like Dracula's Place or anything like that in there? Like
not yet.
You know, like
they haven't gotten to that level of DLC.
They
yet.
launch on the 10th. What is that? Next week? So the 10th is when this game technically comes out in full.
Gonna go mow the lawn of the old Myers place.
Your guy looks like a Pokemon trainer.
It kind of does. Oh, you get to choose all that, by the way. Colors and logo and all that stuff you get to do. You get to make your dude. And you also hire employees later, and they can go do jobs while you're not there. And that's a fun way.
Like Final Fantasy 14, where you hire friends to run dungeons with you, AI friends, so you can hire AI friends to mow lawns with you.
A little bit, yeah. They're never where you are. That's like different houses. You're always on your own when you're doing it. But apparently, you can get all the way up to like castles and big British estates and stuff like that if you do a good enough job.
Do you drink beer while you're doing it? Is there a button?
No,
it's illegal to drink and drive, John.
Yeah, you don't want to do
not
that.
a lawnmower.
No, I think it is any operating machinery. I mean,
really?
I know what you mean. I've known from the country. Know a lot of that cavalier kind of thing used to go on in the 80s and 90s, and we've cracked down over the years. Yeah. But I actually think, strictly speaking, any operated machinery, you should not be drinking any alcoholic drinks on it. So I bet you they're probably
well, yeah, but the police aren't gonna roll up to my backyard.
I like how I'm saying this as if Grand Theft Auto isn't a game. Like it's also legal to murder people.
You're like, they can't do that. That'd be against the law.
They can't do drinking and driving.
Yeah,
it's against the law.
This guy just ate some flowers by accident. I didn't eat them. He ran over them. So that teaches.
I was gonna say, hold on now.
Yeah, now this game's starting to sound interesting to John.
They should introduce bumblebees, because like if you accidentally knock a nest, that would be a hazard for a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about it in the end was I chilled out a lot playing it. It really relaxed me, which is what I was
really happy for you, man.
Yeah, it was neat. So I'm excited.
I nearly lost an eye because of somebody mowing a lawn.
Exactly. It was a code, by the way, thanks to the developer who sent it. I wasn't sure if I'd like it, and I do a lot. I can't believe how much, actually, and I did a lot. I've already got 2 mowers now. I got my first employee. I got tipped for doing a really good job at one guy's house.
I think you might be one of the most well-renowned Chorecore influencers.
I don't know, dude. Like, that might be the only one. I don't know. I don't know who likes these, but somebody must.
I mean, it's a good thing. Like I appreciate all of these games. I don't just because I won't play them doesn't mean I don't think they're awesome or anything like that. Right. It looks cool.
And you appreciate the concept here is that
I like anything non-violent. Like there's so many violent games. If you tell me there's a game that creates interesting gameplay mechanics, even if it's for a niche market, not everyone, like it takes effort, man, to be creative in those ways.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. Like,
it also has first-person mode. I should have mentioned. This video's not showing it, but you can do the whole thing first-person if you want, which is kind of fun too. I like that.
Awesome.
Probably a VR version coming, if I had to guess.
It probably should have beer in this game, I think.
You think there should be some beer?
Yeah. I mean, John's right. Yeah, John's right.
Can you have sex with a homeowner? Alora, for real? No, you cannot. There's no sex with the homeowner.
That's a different simulator.
Yeah, very different.
Called Subverse.
Yeah. You're mowing a very
different. You're not a homeowner, you're a ship owner, but
yeah,
close enough.
Well, I mean, but there's a genre that, even the erotic games haven't broken into. Erotic chorecore. You know, you flip a house and then you nail the owner because they're so happy for what you did for the house.
ECC. Erotic chorecore. I like it. Yeah. All right. I've not a lot more to say about this, except I've been playing it more. I hit level 35 in Swords of Legends, rather. I am
Nice.
I am committed. I want to see that end game, so I'm going to get there, and we'll talk more about that on the new instance, which is a lot more about the bigger view of MMOs anyway now. So I won't say much more about it here, except that game's got its charms. There's stuff to like. They just launched their new raid as well, or their first raid, and apparently it's real good. I just have not seen any of it yet. So translation continues to be real dumb, and in a good way, because it's cracking me up and giving me content. So thank you, Swords of Legends. And then for just the poops and giggles, I reinstalled Black Desert Online because I just wanted to kind of say, well, I'm playing this action-y Chinese MMO. I should go back to the ultimate action-y MMO of the recent years, and that being Black Desert. And Bo played a ton of it and got really hooked in there for a while. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go in there and see what's up. So I made a ninja and got him to level 24. Leveling's really fast in that game. It's not hard to...
Yeah, if you don't play for a while, they put you on a double XP server, and it's no PvP's turned off.
Yeah.
You get to play there for 30 days, and then they dump you into world PvP.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But that ninja's fun. That's a fun class. Big, crazy, stupid, obnoxious class that I really enjoyed.
The secret is they're all like that too. Like all the classes have this fun loop, and the ninja is definitely one of the badass ones.
Yeah, he's real good. Yeah. I also I wish they didn't look so stupid, but the wizard has great abilities, but he looks like a frumpy 14-year-old trying to look like Gandalf at Halloween.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like, you can change the appearance of your guys though and give them an older look.
Yeah.
The character creator is pretty robust, but I agree the wizard's not great.
Yeah, it's
appearance wise. I can see that not wanting to play that. I played a Lahn, an Lahn. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, what is that?
But the Lahn, it's some kind of fightery dancery thing, I guess.
I mowed lawns. You played the lawn.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, yeah. You literally, that game is just like the swords spin around. Basically, you have these swords on chains, and then you whip the chains out, and the swords spin around. It's like, it doesn't make sense in real life at all, but it's cool in anime.
Yeah.
But the big thing with her is like you can actually jump into the air and fly with her. Mm-hmm. It's the only character that can do that, so you can get around real fast, which is one of the things I loved about it.
Yeah. She's super mobile. I played the Corsair a little bit too, a few levels anyway.
Is it the new pirate one?
Yeah, she's like water pirate. She uses a bunch of water powers and stuff with her sword.
Don't expect anything to realistic. Like it's so over the top.
Yeah.
That I'm like that you're like, why can't more games be over the top? It's actually, Final Fantasy 14 has this a little bit, what you can see in the end game with all the lights and cool abilities. It's the same school of thought.
Yeah. It's a crazy time, this game. I kind of enjoy it. Hopping in there and just goofing off. It's pretty good.
I just wish the rest of the game was, if the rest of the game was good, I'd still be playing it.
Yeah, the end game is just a grind, right? Like it's
a game. The crafting's really important, and like you don't get gear from dungeon drops, Scott. If you want high-end gear, prepare it to craft, and then gamble for forever, and then be offered to pay real money to speed things up, but on the order of thousands of dollars. Yeah, it's not a well-designed. It's a well-designed MMO for a gacha game.
Yeah.
The only thing it has, it's fun to go around and do solo content. It doesn't have much in the way of dungeons, though.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, and I kind of see how the fighting style wouldn't lend itself to dungeon fights very well. Like, there's just not...
Yeah, I think they just released their first dungeon. The game's been out forever, like a half a year ago or something like that. Like, there was no dungeons. It's just group world questing content and world PvP. That's the main draw.
Yeah.
And, what do they call it in World of Warcraft? They call it Fashion Frame and Warframe. The game, the transmog game.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who love like just dressing up their characters, like this is a big one for that too. So,
well, there you have it. Anyway, I recommend just if you have it, it's fun to just poke your head in there and do dumb stuff. I'm not saying you're going to get hooked or it'll be your main.
I paid $5 for it. It was on sale for like $5. It's an MMO I've never paid a monthly fee for. I bought some clothing. I'm not going to lie, but
we remember.
Oh, I remember.
We haven't forgotten the panties.
I will say.
I bought panties and a nice panties and bra for
Bo forgot he told us, and we said that there was a pause of how does John know that I bought panties in this game?
I will say though, like the What was I going to say? I forgot already. Oh, the new so the remastered thing really is just like upped textures and some better effects and some stuff. It's pretty hardcore upgrade visually, but I really like their UI changes. I think the new UI is actually really good. And it used to be terrible. It used to be really bad. So hats off.
Go check it out because maybe I don't know. There's so many updates in that game. They update that game a lot. That's one thing I'll say. Like they even have their own little BlizzCon, their version of BlizzCon for the devs too and stuff.
Yeah.
So that game gets a lot of TLC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, John. We talked about the Ascent, and let's talk about those Final Fantasy streams. You're doing that, right? That's happening.
I haven't yet, but I talked about it last week, and I was surprised at how excited people were about it. I got a ton of messages on Twitter about it and excited for it and all of that. So I figured I would give an update here, since that's where I talked about it. Things have been a little crazy with home life, so I haven't been able to start it. So I'm looking at starting up the Final Fantasy streams either this weekend. If I can't get to it this weekend, because it is going to be a bit of a busy weekend, it should start next week. So,
Nice.
Again, plan to go through all the Final Fantasies and stream them.
Nice.
Which seems crazy now that I don't know if it's just the phone listening to me when, because phones are spying on everybody, but I got a news article on my recommends today that was, here's the playtime of all the Final Fantasy games. And I was like, okay, let's look at it. And I all of a sudden had numbers to go with what I was planning on doing and went,
man.
oh no. So we'll see. We'll see how long it goes. I mean, right now of the Pixel remasters, only the first 3 are out. So I've got time until those next 3 come out. So I guess it's good that it's going to take a while. But I did invest some money in my streaming setup, so I'll be able to stream a lot more coming up soon as well.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
And then I played that game Townscaper.
Oh, yeah. How is that? Or I guess I know how it is, but how do you
It's not
like
a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a toy.
It's just a toy. And it's... I didn't spend very much money on it, and that's probably what it was worth. But like at the same time, it is oddly relaxing and nice. Like there's really no tutorial to it, so I was just sort of arbitrarily clicking, and then things were happening, and I guess that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is kind of neat. This is kind of cool.
Yep.
And it was just a very zen experience. Like it's, again, not a game.
Yeah.
They just drop you in. There's a couple of houses floating on some water, and then you just click to either add or you control click to remove. And you don't even really get to pick what you're building exactly. It's like, okay, well, if you click just once, it makes a road.
Yeah.
And if you click it again, then it makes a tiny house. If you click it again, it adds a second story to the tiny house. But if you do a group of 4, then it makes a big house.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of control. You just click it and mess with it, and that's all you do. But it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was relaxing, and I liked what I built.
It does kind of a procedural. It does kind of a procedural generation thing where if you click certain ways, you'll get a certain kind of house. If you add on top of that house, you might start building a castle. But if you do it less connected, you might actually build a bunch of weird stacked townhomes. And if you leave space between a couple of them, you might get stairs or a drawbridge or, whatever. Like it's weirdly smart that way, and I find it really compelling.
You should be able to export this stuff for D&D maps.
Yeah,
it's so close.
Yeah, it does have. I didn't get too good of a look at it, but when I went to quit and I clicked the options, there was a bunch of things like save, export, Like I don't think you can do it for necessarily like D&D maps, but like there was a level of like. It looks like maybe there's some stuff you can do with it, but it would be cool because it is so easy at kind of quickly building the world the way you want it. I do think like a D&D map maker in this sort of engine would be really, really cool because for a lot of people, it isn't about like making the perfect thing. It's just about making something that functions and looks the way that your players need it to.
Like if you have a big city, random encounter city areas, you just drop some structures. Just DM prep. You don't need to know everything that's happening. It's just some areas.
Yeah.
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 It's cool.
It's a neat little toy. I like it a lot. I do wish you could export them to use them somewhere in some other way. I don't know what it would be. But then also with D&D, I want like interiors.
Yeah, well, then we're getting more into the weeds about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if
that exists. That's I think I bought Tailspire.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, you have that, right? Did they?
And there's also another one, Dungeon Alchemist. I think is somebody is a group that are. So Tailspire is an online TT virtual tabletop to play. Everyone buys a copy and you all play in there. It's a little different, but you do make the maps with their assets and can import them. But Dungeon Alchemist, I think, is a map maker. There's a lot of map makers. By the way, if you're looking for a world map maker, Wonderdraft is your answer. It is the best program ever to make like geography maps.
Oh yeah,
it's on Humble Store, Wonderdraft.
Oh, I am.
Just look at go to their site, wonderdraft.net, I think, or the subreddit, and look at the example maps, and it's really easy to make. It works like a simpler Photoshop, just dedicated to make D&D maps. It's the best.
Oh wow!
Looking at Tailspire real quick here. They're still in early access, but man, this thing has really great reviews. People are digging it.
Yeah, I picked it up too. I just haven't taken the time to learn it.
John, you might like Wonderdraft a lot. I know you're like a lore builder and storyteller and stuff like that. Like just to make maps for fun, it's like a pleasure to use. It's very easy.
Yeah, this thing seems cool.
Yeah, it seems neat. But it does seem like the idea of like, let's say you have a blank space, a banquet room, having a brush basically like that townscape thing, just let you procedurally generate a bunch of shit in the room, so that you could quickly say, well, here on this side of the room is just full of treasure. And it would just be, just rub your mouse and have it do random treasure. Yeah, that seems like what you'd want. That seems like you want to get real weird and put in a table.
And I'll tell you why. Because I bought a ton of asset packs on Roll20, and they're all. It's like you can slap something down, but it's usually pretty static and pretty big, and not a lot of it. You know, so like this is appealing, where it's just like randomly procedurally generated. Boom, here's a room. Like I agree with you.
I want this to be.
It's probably a lot of work for someone to do that. I don't know. I'm guessing, but
like it's got to be right. Like the programming. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's what they're after here. Tailspire. Some of the latest Tailspire videos look real good. Like there's some neat shit going on. All right. Well, it's on my wish list. We'll see how that goes. $24.
Maybe we'll use it in the future. Who knows?
Moving on to Bo, who bought a Nintendo Switch. Ding, 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 boom, boom.
I own a Nintendo Switch, everyone. The guy who's like, I'm never going to buy a Switch. I don't really like consoles. Blah, blah, blah. I bought one.
Here, I'll play the Wii Sports music while we... or no,
yep, perfect.
You know what's better than that?
Perfect for Switch.
The Switch, the Wii Sports.
I'll tell you what's better. Let's do... here. Don't I have something like... okay, well, maybe not. Okay, well, yeah. I'll do this. This is like an intent. This is like a Mario thing.
Yo, my name is Bo, and I'm here to say I bought a Nintendo Switch yesterday.
I bought a Nintendo. All right, so you bought a Nintendo Switch, and you bought it mainly motivated by you wanting to play Pokemon.
So here's what happened.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'll buy a Switch one day. Yeah, I'll buy a Switch. When something interests me, I'll buy a Switch one day. I'll buy a Switch. Then I found out Kyle, our friend over on There Will Be Dungeons and Into the Nexus, Kyle Ferguson, 2 S's, was doing a podcast about a Pokemon MOBA called Pokemon Unite with Mockery and Kai Berry's Heroes of the Storm streamers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of an intense level of interest.
Yeah.
And then I found a stream fan from the Heroes of the Storm professional play was streaming, and he was scrimming with 9 other ex-pro Heroes of the Storm players, and they were all playing it and taking it super seriously. And I was like, what is this? And then I listened a bit to the show, and I'm like, is this, it came out like 2 weeks ago. I hadn't even heard of this, didn't know this existed. And then I went to my brother's house last weekend, and I was like, can I just try your Switch? I just want to play one game. And I tried it, I played one game, and since that Saturday, all I've wanted to do in life is buy a Nintendo Switch. It literally switched on these neurons in my brain that just would not shut up until I bought it. And let me tell you, remember on this show, early on, you said, would there ever be a day where we could take console controllers and make a MOBA with it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe we could do that with Heroes of the Storm. With no, Heroes has to be mouse and keyboard. You can't really do that on console. Yeah. These guys did it.
Yep.
This is about as good as a game can feel being a controller focused, and it is almost identical to Heroes. It's like they went like, oh, Heroes of the Storm seems like a good game. let's just make that game, but make it with Pokemon. And they change up a few things. It's got like simplified talents and very, just have some last hitting in it, which is okay because Heroes was very criticized for not having last hitting mechanics in it.
Yeah.
It makes everything simpler without making it less strategic or dumb.
Yeah.
It also it's like they said, Blizzard's like, here's Hero of the Storm, and the community went, oh, baby MOBA, and then Tencent and Niantic went, hold my beer, everyone. Let's make an even more kiddie game that is actually good. Because people said that about Heroes, and we're like, no, it's a great game full of strategy. You guys are all wrong. And I even got a little bit of that today in the chat. It's like, yeah, but really, it's like a kid's game. It's 10 minutes. I'm like, we said that about Heroes. Yeah. This is Heroes of the Storm, the 10-minute version, and it's actually incredibly fun.
Even the game type where you're chucking the balls and getting points as opposed to breaking things, that reminds me of what Heroes might do
brawl.
with a map.
It's brawl. They have a brawl mode. They literally have everything. They have a brawl mode. They have boosts. They have skins. It's literally everything with a bit more gotcha mechanics than Heroes would put in. But that aside, it is Heroes of the Storm in MOBA form. What's exciting is that Pokemon's a real exciting brand. So there's a lot of people who never played a MOBA but love Pokemon. They're going to play it. And I'm in there murdering them left, right, and center. It's amazing. And now's the time to play. I was like, if I wait 5 months, they're all going to move on. Like, now's the time all the noobs are in there. I score all my points. It just I had a game in the last 10 minutes. I had 15 kills in one game, and the next guy had 4 kills.
Yeah,
and most of the rest of the team had 1. I'm just like, come on, Pikachu! And I'm just like loving the game so much. I've only played Pikachu. I've played 17 games. I have about a 78% win rate right now. We mostly lose when I either have AFKers or just like they're just A lot of people don't know MOBA mechanics. They're not farming the monsters that are around to get XP. They're just running to the enemy team and getting wasted. And it's just so if you know better how to play the game, you are just like dominating. And it's fun. It is fun. It plays like it does everything. Once you get, there's a lot of nuance to the controls in order to aim, but it does everything you can do in a mouse and keyboard that you could do. It just has less abilities. You get 2 abilities, a passive and an ulti, and the ulti charges through attacks rather than timer. But I'm full on video game cokehead addiction right now. So
I caught Bo up.
I was up till 3:30 in the morning last night. Don't tell my work, please. But it's really good.
You watched some of his stream, John?
I did. Well, I was up, I stay up a little late after everybody goes to sleep because that's when I get game time, is if I decide to stay up. And I'll usually stay up till midnight. Yeah. And it was midnight and I had just finished feeding the baby and I was like, all right, well, I can probably play for a little bit longer. What am I going to put on my second screen while I'm playing Final Fantasy? And I was like, who's streaming right now? Oh, Bo's streaming. Well, wait a minute. If it's midnight here, it's like 3 something there. Well, yeah, let's go see what Bo's doing. So I popped into his chat and said good morning to him.
And I was like, oh shit, John's here. And it's 3:30 in the morning. Oh no. By the way, I gotta just address chat room. Sabin was like, how you liking the aim assist in Unite? I turned it off.
Yeah. Is there an aim assist?
For the record, I would probably turn it off too, because the amount of times I've tried to use an escape, like an attack move as an escape, but that aim assist would just lock onto the nearest Pokemon, and I'd dive deeper instead of escaping. I was like, man, we gotta.
There's auto targeting in this, like with auto attacks and stuff. That's just part of the gameplay mechanics. It's like everyone's Garrosh, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
the aim assist for skill shots, you can turn that off. So that's off for me.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's real good. Yeah.
It's Heroes. It's what you were describing with Final Fantasy 14. I get to play WoW, but have a brand new, fresh experience with great things. It feels to me I get to play Heroes, a game I've played 11,000 games of, but all the characters are new, the situation's new, and has the pleasure of being a new sort of game and phenomenon. Like, I don't think people are gonna hate this the way they hated on Heroes. We had a lot like, it's a baby MOBA, Blizzard trying to be like League, it's not a good game, casual, and it's like this is the same thing, but like I lasted 11,000 games in this one. It's literally truncated Heroes of the Storm. So
That's how it feels to me
I'm
too,
loving
and I like it about it. It also, I think we said last week how polished it was. Do you agree? Like, I love how polished it is. It just looks great, looks and feels good.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a janky game, and it doesn't, I don't know. It could be a mess. And when that comes to mobile, it's going to really explode in terms of numbers. I don't know how they're going to do that, if they're going to have shared player bases or not, if those are going to be separate. Nobody's
I
really
hope
said.
so, because then another influx of players that
You can just rock.
I mean, I should do
Yeah.
the honorable thing, go to ranked and play with people at my skill level, but we did it a lot in Heroes. We go to quick match and let's stomp. I mean, your top clip is us absolutely trashing another team, and laughing our asses off about
That's
it.
true.
It's your top. If you go to all-time top clip, it's the 5 of us just steam. Like we killed 4 people in about 2 seconds, and then we go, bah! So I mean, now's the time to play. Bring on all the delicious new players for me to pwn.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to do
I
that.
love that this is what got you a Switch. I love it.
Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
well, the skills are transferable. It's like, how you might lose a job and you're like, what are my skills good for? And then you find a job that your skills fit and you didn't think so. Maybe you're a marine biologist and you become a game developer and you're like, bam, that really worked out for me. It's like, well, I was a Heroes player and now I can just play this game and I have 10 years experience on everyone. Let me, go nuts. So
yeah,
it's great.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's got Slowpoke in it, so already
everyone
they've
loves
got the
Slowpoke.
roster. I mean, John, fill out your wish list for Pokemon in this game. I mean, you've already got number 1, Slowpoke. You got him right on there.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing it could use more of now is Psyduck, and we're done.
and you're in. Yeah,
We got it.
yeah. They're pretty generous with characters up front, which also
Yeah, I've unlocked 5 or 6 for free. I haven't paid anything. I'm gonna get the battle pass though.
Yeah.
I want the hip hop Pikachu skin. I only play Pikachu, and the only skin he has is locked behind the battle pass. I can't just buy it.
It's funny because my biggest complaint initially playing the game was I was like, well, they took all the Game Boy era sounds for the Pokemon and make them make that sound, and it is jarringly awful. Like when the match starts, and in Heroes where everybody would go huzzah as the match begins, all the Pokemon screech, and it's all just like this amped up stereo version of the Game Boy noise, and it just sounds like a Game Boy exploded somewhere in my television every time a match starts, except Pikachu. He's the only one that talks, and he's the only one who says his name. And I thought, well, why don't they do that with everybody? Like, the Pokemon anime's been on forever. Why can't they all just say their name like Pikachu does? And then I watched Bo play Pikachu, and I got so sick of hearing Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu. I was like, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Maybe Pikachu's the one that's wrong, and everybody else is right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Pikachu.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, I agree.
I'm part of the Pika religion now. I've heard it so much I have Stockholm syndrome, so it's all music to my
You're
ears.
all in. You're going to be in pictures with Pikachu holding the rifle. You're part of the revolution now. Well done.
Keep in mind, I haven't played a Pokemon game since original Game Boy.
Oh my lord.
It's the 1990s. I haven't played. I'm not interested in Pokemon, and this is my favorite game.
There you go.
Anyway.
Anything else jump at you this week?
Well, let's just talk about a few things. We'll go over it quick. Disco Elysium, still playing it, still loving it, still one of the greatest games of all time. I just want to tell you guys, my thoughts keep telling me I'm a sorry cop, or I'm a communist cop, or just a libertarian, whatever. And I tell my brain to F off, literally. But then it came time that my brain told me, you're probably pretty critical of, the way art is constructed. You know the difference between shitty things and good things. And I'm like, I am like that. We do a podcast. I talk about how some games suck, and how Epic Game Store sucks, but Doom Eternal is bliss in game design. So I became an art cop. So I got an art degree, and I walk through the game now judging art by its aesthetic merits. And then I also, because I'm a weakling, there's this guy Measurehead who's this buff dude who happens to be a massive racist, and I need something from behind him. And there's no way I can fight him, and he's despicable in his annoyance, but I can't get past him by punching him because I'm weak. So I concocted a plan to convince him that I'm super into his racism. So I got a thought about advanced race theory, and it's like that game gets so. Anyways, I just want to tell you guys I'm just a big racist in that game, but it's fake. It's just to get what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're such a dirtbag in this game as a protagonist. There's no way you come out of this game feeling good about yourself or your choices, but you have to finish the game, or just you can not, and I guess not play it. But
Sure.
I tried to punch him. It didn't go well.
yeah, I figured. I tried to punch a little kid and fell on my ass and lost 1 HP, which was half of my HP. What if I'm gonna try and punch a giant racist muscle man who has tattooed on his head like phrenology lines? I'm like, this guy's going to punch me into outer space. So I decided I'd do the lying thing and pretend to be a racist. But it's just funny how deep it goes in on racism. It's something else. Yeah. I sunk my first, moving on to another game, Sea of Thieves, I sunk my first undead boat. That's a big accomplishment.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still loving that game.
What does that mean? You sunk an undead boat? For those?
So, like, periodically, like, undead boats, Davy Jones style, just rise out of the water and attack you.
Yeah.
And I think it happens when you raise the Reaper flag. They'll come up more often. But I was like, I can't sink a boat. And in a fight once last night, I finally was able to put one down, and that was a big accomplishment. It took, like, 9 shots, and it was sloop on sloop. That's the little boat, sloop on sloop action.
Yeah.
But we took out one, and there's lots of treasure on it. It was just a milestone when you finally were able to. I've played that game like 40 hours now, and still haven't taken out a boat, so that was really nice.
I think that's the thing that makes that game compelling to me, though, is knowing that there's no like XP. That like experience in that game really is just experience. It makes me excited because
just money. You're trying to get goods.
There's no thing in that game where you look at it and you go, well, I can't go there because I'm too low of a level. Like, you can do whatever you want in that game. You might die because you might just not be an experienced enough crew in the I know what the hell I'm doing sense. But there's no reason why you can't try things. Like, if you get attacked by something, you have just as good a chance as somebody who sunk a ton of hours into that game. At doing it, and I think there's a real appeal to that, to not know that it's like, oh, I gotta go grind XP so I can be a level 82 pirate and be able to defeat a skeleton boat.
It's like, just for cosmetics and like harder missions. Like, there are harder missions tied to reputation, but there's a limit to reputation. It's not that important, ultimately. The fun thing though is like just the discovery. So like, your ship can get holes in it. You use wood to block up the holes, and you take a pail. You scoop the water, you dump it out, right? And you're like, okay, that's what the pail's for. But I just discovered after like 9 or 10 sessions, if you eat like rotten food, you'll puke it up. Well, you can catch it in your bucket and then throw the bucket at other players. You can barf in a bucket and then chuck it on things. And you wouldn't know that unless you thought to try it. And also, I sent you guys the snake thing too. That we had a mission where you had to capture snakes. And when you put the snake in the cage, it bites you. It spits poison at you. And we're like, how do you bring this onto the boat? So we did the snake relay where it spat poison at us, and we died 100 times trying to get a snake on a boat. And then Mike was like, why don't you try playing an instrument? It probably won't work. And then, you know what? I whip out an instrument, and then the snake gets charmed, and then it's calm. So to catch a snake, one guy's got to play an instrument. The other guy puts it in the cage, and then you transport it. I'm like, this game is amazing. Like, it's not some UI telling you kill 3 pigs or press this button to do this thing. It's just like, there's all these kinds of magical little interactions with everything. It just makes it a constant delight to play. Like, just that we're discovering it. Like, we're figuring it out on our own, It's cool.
Anyways. I need to get the damn thing. I will. I'll
it's
end
good.
up getting it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, yeah.
I'm not getting it. It exists. I have it. I need to play it is what I mean. I need to play the damn thing. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, that's a bunch of games we played. I'm going to read one of these emails here real quick. Check this out. Where is it? Whoops. I'm in the wrong place.
That's a good question.
Hey, guys, says Luke. He sent this to talktothecourt@gmail.com. Love the show and wanted to use the email portion of the show to remind Bo and John that Scott will soon be asking you if you have any parting words of wisdom while the outro music is playing. So heads up, use this time to get ready for Scott's inevitable question. Luke. I mean, I don't know. Probably doesn't hurt to remind you. I don't know.
Useful advice. Not always the most prepared for that.
Yeah, and I don't blame you because, I spring it on you. And it's
we never sat and made it a thing.
No, we didn't make it official.
It happened organically.
It did. It's a little bit like a lot of what we do here. Thanks for that email. If you guys have more emails, more thoughts, more comments, talk to the core. Don't stalk to the core. We don't want to be stalked. Talk to the core at gmail.com. That's talk to the core at gmail.com. And be like Luke and ask your question. We'll be reading it here on the show. Also, it's a brand new month, a time for you to hop on and enjoy the great benefits and perks of memberships over at our Patreon. Patreon.com/core show is the place to do it. If you've been on the fence, now's the time to get off that damn fence and belly on up to the bar. That's patreon.com/core show. Frogpants.com/core for everything else. And don't forget, we're always on Twitter and stuff. You can find us there. Core Pod, John_Jagger, Scott Johnson, and Bo Schwartz. All right, that's going to do it. Oh, Bo, where are you streaming? At Gorath, Gore4Ath.
No, at twitch.tv/Bo Schwartz.
Oh, you changed it. That's right. I knew this.
It's Bo Schwartz. I
That's
play
right.
Gorath in games, but just find me Bo Schwartz wherever.
And John, you're doing what is your Revendon?
Twitch.tv/John_Jagger.
I thought it was Revendon. Why? Why did I do
Used to be. It used to be.
No.
Bo changed his to Bo, and then I was like, well, you know,
we're not on
makes
core. You're not
sense.
like Scott. You're not like, hey, Gorath. Like, like people don't talk. Like, I am Gorath, and in games I am, but all the sort of public-facing stuff, people call me.
Yeah,
Bo,
it makes sense. I just don't know. I don't know why I missed both of you changing it. But
It
anyway, I'm
seems
glad.
like other social circles do it, and I'm always like, how do they keep that up? But I'm like, I'm cool with it. It's just our lot.
It's totally
Bo
fine.
changed it, and then I copied him. That's what happened.
Nice. I like to see a little
But I copied
copycat.
someone else. We all copied. We stand on the shoulders of giants.
Truly.
That's right.
Truly and most assuredly. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm not going to do it this week. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
I have the chef.
Just shaking it up a little.
I like that Bo